The Runaway. Ryan the GNR engine was feeling ill. The men tried so hard to make him feel better, but it was no good. You'll need to go to the works to get mended, said the Fat Controller. Flora will take you there on a flatbed truck and a brake van behind it. Poor Ryan felt miserable for the rest of the day. Then the Fat Controller spoke to Percy. I would like you to help Daisy, Atten and Mooshie on the Harwick branch line while Ryan is away. Percy felt happier with that idea. And so it was arranged. Percy already knew Daisy, and he also made friends with Mooshie and Atten. Skiff also welcomed him too. Take care of Ryan's goods and passengers, he said. I'm sure he'll be happier knowing what a good job you've done when he comes back. Don't worry, said Percy. I'll make sure he's proud of me, he said, and he puffed away. Ryan's passengers were impressed. They thought it had been a pleasure riding with Percy. Atten and Mooshie were also impressed too. A few weeks later, Ryan came home from the works and he was finally feeling better. He asked Atten and Mooshie of Percy. Ryan was so happy that he also forgot about feeling jealous. Little did they know that Ryan's brakes had not been fixed since his last accident, which means he would also miss the station by accident and then try again. The next day, Ryan backed in trying again, and he was so happy to have stopped at the station in the same perfect spot. Unfortunately, his driver had suddenly taken ill, so a relief man had took his place. So they all waited at the station to wait for Bert's passengers. At last, Bert came. He clanked in slowly, but then Ryan realised that he was moving. He couldn't stop. He had no driver and fireman. The guard, passengers, driver and fireman all shouted while stranded at the station. Help! Help! Cried Ryan. I can't stop! But he was so full of steam that he couldn't stop. Luckily, back at the station, the station master telephoned for help. Emergency! A runaway train is coming. Luckily, Howell the helicopter had been on the search for Ryan the whole time that he brought the railway inspector with him. As soon as they reached Wellsworth Station, they could hear Ryan racing down the line. At last, the inspector jumped on board Ryan, applied his brakes gently, and then Ryan stopped. Ryan was happy to be safe. Then he thanked Harold. Don't thank me, I'm just doing my duty. Then the inspector smiled. Your brakes have not been fixed properly. I'm afraid we have to get them fixed later. Won't you agree? Ryan, who was out of breath, couldn't say anything, but he was also happy to be safe and sound on the tracks.